Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be going over our bug poncho pattern. It'll be available on our Etsy store or be linked down below. Anyways, you're going to be getting two files. The first file is the pattern instructions, basically going over the pattern and how to assemble it and what material you'll need to create this costume. Now, the second file is the pattern itself, and on here I have information on the sizes and the test square. I recommend that you print out the first page of the pattern, that way we can do the test square and double check that everything is printing out correctly, right? Nothing's distorted. And the box has to measure 2 by 2 inches, and if it does, then you can go ahead and print out the rest of the pattern. Now, another thing that's on here is there is a dotted border along with every page has a letter and number. That way you know how to organize it and tape it up. And if we go back to the pattern instructions, I tell you to tape and match on the dotted line from A1 all the way to A8. We're going to go down to B1 all the way to B8, go down to C1 all the way to C8, and lastly D1 to D3. So that's how we're going to tape and assemble the pattern, and I'll be right back. Let's get started with the front of the poncho. So you have three pieces: the front top, the front middle, and the front bottom, and you'll be cutting one of each. And we're going to be sewing them in the middle. So basically connect the top with the middle and then the middle with the bottom. And we're going to be sewing 1/2 inch seam allowance. For the back of the poncho, we're going to be repeating the same steps. So you have the back top, back middle, and back bottom. And we're going to be sewing again 1/2 inch seam allowance when connecting all of the pieces. And then after that, we're going to connect the back and front together on the side seams. And again, we're going to be sewing them right sides together on the side seams, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now let's get started on the hood. So you have the hood and the hood panel. You're going to be cutting 2 of each, and we're going to be sewing 1/2 inch for the panel on the top, and then for the hood on the side, again 1/2 inch seam allowance. After we're done with the hood and hood panel, let's put that to the side and start working on the ears. So you're going to cut 4 out of fabric and 2 out of either foam or batting. You can also use wire if you want to give your ears a little bit more structure, but in this video, I'm using batting. So I'm going to place the batting, then a piece of fabric, and another piece of fabric facing each other right sides. And I'm going to be sewing 1/4 seam allowance for the ears, and then after that I'm going to trim and clip the curved areas and then flip it to the right side, and then we have our little bug ears ready to be sewn onto the hood. Okay, so now open up the hood and get measuring tape, or you don't have to do it the way that I did it. I put mine about 1.5 inches away from the center pin and sew them in place so they don't move, because now we're going to connect the hood to the hood panel, and we're going to be sewing 1/2 inch again to connect both pieces together. I also went ahead and finished the hood by creating a 1/2 inch hem on there, and now we're ready to start working on creating the bug eyes. For that, go ahead and cut 2 pieces of yellow felt and then 2 pieces of green felt, and we're going to be sewing the green piece on top of the yellow, and then after that we're going to sew the piece on top of the hood. And now we're ready to sew everything together. So the way I like to do it is first mark the center back and front, and then I'm going to pin the back of the hood with the poncho, and then the front center, and then I'm gonna pin the sides, and then sew 1/2 inch on the neckline. After that, we are pretty much done. Here is our little bug poncho, super cute. The last thing we're gonna do is, I guess, optional as well, because we are using fleece fabric for this project. So technically this fabric doesn't fray, so you don't have to create a hem if you don't want to, but if you do, you can do that. You can also serge the edge and call it a day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is how it turned out. So adorable. I will link the pattern down below if you guys want to check it out, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys!